We all have heroes. In this country, it's Martin Luther King. For my country, it's Oscar Arnulfo Romero. Similar to Martin Luther King, Oscar Romero became a voice for the voiceless during the 12 years of the Salvadorian Civil War. First, I will discuss who Oscar Romero was. Second, I will discuss what he did for the community. And finally, I will talk about what impact he left years after his assassination. To begin, I would like to discuss who Oscar Romero was. Oscar Romero was or better known as Monsignor Romero, was a prelate for the Catholic Church and served as an Archbishop of San Salvador. He was born on August 15, 1917 in Ciudad Barrios and was assassinated during Mass on March 24, 1980 in El Salvador. Oscar was someone who spoke up against poverty, social injustice, assassinations, etc. As an article from NPR.org explained, he became a voice for the voiceless being the less fortunate communities. Now that I've discussed who Oscar Romero was, I want to discuss what he did for the communities. When Romero was ordained a priest and had returned back to El Salvador after being in Rome, he became famous for his ceremonies, and he would visit prisons, organize Catholic classes, and would help provide food for the poor. When the violence in El Salvador had increased, the government and the army started to kill poor people who stood up for their rights. When 3 people were killed in the district of Romero, he wrote a letter to the president about what was going on and provided comfort for the families. After Romero had become Archbishop of the capital of El Salvador, many people of the rich communities were delighted because they believed this would stop the priests from standing up for the underprivileged. But a few weeks after, his friend Father Rotillo Grande was murdered. Romero did only one mass where he discussed the murders, and soon after he became an activist. Romero continued to speak up as violence continued. Each Sunday he would broadcast his sermons by radio. Romero's life was threatened many times, and according to an article from CAFOD News, his radio station was bombed, but the CAFOD rebuilt it because he was a partner. But on March 24th, as he was giving Mass, he was shot and killed. The day before, during his sermon, he pleaded the army to stop killing people. Now that we learned more about what Romero did for the community with a little bit of background, I will discuss about the impact that he left years after. 4 years after his death, on March 24, 1984, according to Wikipedia, during Romero's beatification, Pope Francis stated, "His ministry was distinguished by his particular attention to the most poor and marginalized." He was hailed a hero. In 1997, 17 years after his death, Romero was bestowed the title of Servant God by Pope John Paul II. And later on, in 2018, Pope Francis declared Romero as a saint. In 2010, the United Nations General Assembly claimed that March 24th would be the International Day for Right to the Truth Concerning Gross Human Rights Violations and for the Dignity of the Victims. This was done as a recognition of the role and the actions that Romero did in the defense of human rights. To review, I first discussed who Oscar Romero was. Second, I discussed what Romero did for the community. Finally, I discussed what impact he left years after. We all have heroes. In this country, it's Martin Luther King. For my country, it's Oscar Romero. In conclusion, Romero left a huge impact not only in El Salvador but also around the world, and will remain to be a hero and a voice for the voiceless.